We had to fight a tragic war in 1941 through 1945. All relatives of my father were killed by Nazis in the Ukraine. This, of course, is a specific feature, specific element of our national history, which we will never forget, of course. But on the whole, I'd say there are many more common traits in our national characters that unite us and that help us to move together to the future.
Na Moscou do século XXI, as lembranças do passado soviético nem sempre são tão óbvias quanto a foice e o martelo. O monumento futurista ao cosmonauta Yuri Gagarin, por exemplo, remete a uma grandeza que os russos não estão dispostos a deixar para trás. Para as novas gerações, o cabo de guerra vencido pelo capitalismo pode não passar de apenas mais um capítulo da história a ser estudado. Já para os mais velhos, a queda do antigo bloco comunista ainda tem um peso bem maior. Na prática, o fato de a Rússia ainda ter hoje o maior arsenal nuclear do mundo, com mais de 8.000 ogivas, só confirma que, apesar de todos os problemas, o poderio russo vai bem além da ultrapassada propaganda da era soviética ou dos arroubos bélicos do presidente Putin.
E nesses tempos de ideologias difusas, seja nas conversações para debelar crises regionais e tensões entre países, seja nas conversações comerciais dos BRICS, os russos parecem ter se dado conta de que o mercado absorve tudo. Uma rápida visita aqui a uma feirinha de souvenirs de Moscou mostra que eles entenderam que os símbolos que eram ligados a eras ou aos movimentos podem sim virar apenas mercadorias a serem vendidas e a dar lucro. É nessa onda que a tradicional matriosca pode aparecer aqui em Moscou na forma de Neymar.
O Parque Gorky é um produto do pensamento construtivista soviético e, como tantos espaços públicos na capital russa, foi planejado como uma homenagem à força dos trabalhadores. Na era pós-soviética, o Gorky segue como um dos principais parques públicos da cidade. Os BRICS podem até não deslizar tão suavemente quanto os patinadores de todas as idades que vêm se distrair por aqui. Mas não há razão para desistir do projeto que, além de resultados comerciais, poderia almejar objetivos ainda mais nobres, como a construção de uma sociedade mais igualitária. Essa é pelo menos a opinião de Alexandra Arkhangelskaya, doutora em África pela Academia de Ciências da Rússia e estudiosa dos grandes emergentes.
Alexandra, first of all, thank you very much for agreeing to meet us here in snowy Moscow in this beginning of the spring. And as we are in this cold weather, it's good as well because it makes even more evident the difference that are among the countries that make the BRICS. What do you make of these differences? Are they good for us, or is that a problem that we are so different?
I think the differences are just the challenges for us to actually find our common grounds among the BRICS. Not only Brazil and Russia, but all the other BRICS that are actually so further apart by the distance, but actually very close by the understanding of the world today, and are very close in looking towards the future as well.
We've seen lately lots of criticism directed toward the BRICS. Some people saying that we maybe have lost a window of opportunity during the deepest of the crisis in the old economies of the world. I'd like to know your point of view about this criticism and also talk a bit about the process that led to the building of the BRICS.
It's very interesting because there's always criticism about everything that's important. And it's a lot of criticism. The more criticism you get sometimes to the events that's happening, it's actually a good indicator that it is important, it attracts interest. You can notice that BRICS is a response to the challenges that the world is facing today, because the world is no longer bipolar, the world is no longer unipolar. The world is multipolar, and BRICS reflects that. There's new countries that are emerging, the new powers that are emerging, new organizations that are emerging. It's not only BRICS, it's the others as well.
So maybe by different ways and different means, the forming of this sort of groups of clubs like the BRICS can help somehow to strengthen the multilateral institutions and the organizations like the UN, but in a different shape.
Yes, I think so. And if we look further into the BRICS, and now it's South Africa who's leading the group, and it's going to give its turn to Brazil. And I think South Africa made a very important thing. They brought the attention not only to South Africa as a country, but to the African continent. And that is very important because Africa is a continent of a lot of problems, as a lot of opportunities as well.
How do you think that the other partners of the BRICS can work together with Africa to try and overcome the problems and to try and get the most from the opportunities?
Of course, all of the BRICS by themselves, bilaterally, they are involved in the African continent. And it's actually, most of the talk today is about the BRICS in Africa, because BRICS are actually helping and BRICS are representing an alternative way of development to the African continent. So it's very interesting to see how it's going to be evolved, because there's a lot of talk about China involved in Africa and how China is using the BRICS or using other forms to actually get more involved and to explore the possibilities.
So you think that we shouldn't be that afraid of the growing presence of China in Africa? We can manage to work together in a balanced way?
I don't think that actually afraid is a very representative, term, because it's evident we cannot do anything with the process. China is very powerful now, and it's using its power to be involved in Africa, and it's natural. We cannot compete with the tsunami.
Yeah.
Tsunami is something big, and I think.
But you can make the most of it to try and use this energy.
Exactly, you can use the energy. You can accept that it is like that now, and try to use this possibility. And I think BRICS is a very good instrument for that.
Among the similarities that we have is the problems that our countries face. Brazil, Russia, but also India and China, with some very specific and practical things like bureaucracy and corruption. Do you think that there's a way where the BRICS can work together also to face these kind of problems?
This is the challenge and the threat to the development of our societies. It's the corruption, obviously. When you discuss human rights issues and bureaucracy, of course, it's the biggest problem towards the development of the states. So I think those represent opportunities to find the alternative way, not the northern, pro-Western way of resolving. Maybe the BRICS will find their own way, much more interesting and different, and maybe more resultative way to a future that's going to represent more equal and justice way of social development.
In just some more weeks' time, Brazil will hold another BRICS summit, a very high-level BRICS summit that will have the chief of governments of all its members in Fortaleza, Brazil. What, in your opinion, would be the best result of this sort of summit, and this summit specifically?
Brazil is actually in a very difficult position because now there's a lot of tension about the BRICS. And it's escalating because there's a lot of problems in the world, and everyone is expecting every year more and more results from the BRICS. And this is Brazil's turn. That's why everyone is expecting a result. But
including you?
Of course, of course. We want a result. And I think that's a challenge, but still we have to realize that there's so many problems, and it's a very short period of time to give a concrete result. But I think still we're going to see some involvement, we're going to see a lot of talk, and sometimes this talk will bring us to some concrete results. I think there's a lot of hope involved with the BRICS. BRICS represents a flag. It's a hope for multiple and justice in the world. And that's why BRICS in 10 years' time, let's hope it's going to be BRICS. Maybe it's going to be BRICS incorporated with some other states as well. But it's going to still follow its agenda towards a justable world with democracy and with a strive towards a brighter future. BRICS, it's the people, and people that have a lot of history behind their heads, and it's a way forward. And let's stay optimistic and think about that the BRICS is just the instrument for the society to be more equal and to look into the brighter future for our children as well.